Well, it's Golden Rivers football time, unfortunately, with the New South Wales lockdown. Kind of complicated when we came out of the Victoria lockdown that caused all the issues because we've got New South Wales clubs playing in Golden Rivers. Now we've got the reverse of the situation. And one would ask that if these lockdowns do occur, that they could maybe have the border bubble towns and those shires maybe exempted from the bubble, given, there really isn't any of the COVID-19 in those particular locations. The nearest location was Wilcannia. That's 200 kilometres away from the river. But anyway, we will look at the scores from last week in Golden Rivers and give commentary on that. Quambatook 17-12, 114 to beat Maccorner 13-10, 88. Quambatook have got into the finals this year, and that's a real credit to this club. Many were sort of looking at them and the context of whether they'd even be able to keep on going, and this is great news for them. They have Colliote kicking 5, and Bradbury and Mason and Knight all booted 3. And Colliote and also Mason and Wild, Baker, Bradbury and Ellis were the better players for Quampi, while Styles with 6 for Maccorner, and Varker and Smith played pretty well along with Styles. Over to other matches, and it was Hay 10-10-70 going down to Wandella 15-6-96. A great win by Wandella. That was played at Mullameen inside of the bubble so that it could occur. Bunyan with 5 for Hay and Aylett with 3, while Robinson and Sperling both booted 4 and Wilson 3 for the winners. Robinson, Hogg and Rushton for Wandella, while Ferguson, Crichton and Bunyan the better players for the Lions, who are out of the finals race. And Murrabit 12-8-80 beat the side that is in the finals race, Mullameen 8-6-54. Mullameen's second half of the season has been a bit like the COVID-19 circumstance. It's been very frustrating, to say the least, for them. Mawson, a couple of goals. When the Silver went out of their side, I think that's had a big bearing. O'Farrell, Fordham and Shippen were the better players for Mullameen, whilst Hetherington 3 and Keane and Henry both booted 2 for Murrabit, while Grant, Morrison and Hetherington were the better players in the end for their side. So a big game was played, though, at Nullawil between the Old Maroons against the Blue and Whites. 4-5-29, the Blue and Whites. The Maroons were too good, 23-14, 152. That is a comprehensive win. But if you're top of the table and you're playing the bottom side, you do win comprehensively. And maybe through the year when Nullawil beat Mullameen plus 30 goals to nothing, that day we saw just the might and power of this very, very good side in Golden Rivers, who've been there for many years at this level. Smith with 6, Farmer with 5, Casey with 3, Quigley with 2, Watts with a couple, Humphreys with a couple. All their usual suspects amongst it in Quigley, Watts, Farmer, Putt, also Humphreys and Smith. And it was Benner, Dwyer, Cooper and Gleeson kicking goals for Ultima, and Cooper, Seaton, Stewart, Farrell, Kyle, Bull and McCurr were there in their better players. That made the premiership table look something like this. On top of the table, Nullawil, 44 points, Wandella, 32. They're your top two. Quambatook and Mullameen will meet each other, both equal points, 28, in the first semi-final elimination, when we can actually get to that. Over into the reserves premiership table, the top four are Murrabit, Maccorner, Nullawil and Wandella. So we've got two other sides to compete in the reserves, Murrabit and Maccorner, getting into those two positions. In the 17.5s, we've got top of the table is Maccorner. Hay get a side into finals. Mullameen another side into finals, and Nullawil. So interesting there. We've got some different sides competing. And then in the 14.5s, it's Wandella on top, Maccorner, Murrabit and Ultima. So great to see Ultima gets their 14.5s in the finals. Nullawil, Hay, Mullameen and Quambatook all miss out. And for Nullawil, that's an unusual thing. They don't very often have their junior grades missing out on a finals berth, but this time in 5th place and not in the finals race for the 14.5s. But in the seniors, they're top of the table, and when we get to play finals football, which we really do hope is very soon, then those finals games will take place probably over the same weekend, I would say, on a Saturday and a Sunday. But Central Murray and also Golden Rivers, they'll be waiting to see just what happens with this week. If New South Wales comes out of a lockdown, one would expect that these, if you like, the bubble type areas would be playing next weekend. We hope so.